Yesterday, someone saved 5 hours of work before lunch. They didn't hire anyone. They didn't work faster. They didn't even try harder. They just stopped doing things the way they had always been done. This is the story of a small business owner. Maybe it sounds familiar. Maybe it sounds like you. It's 7 a.m. Before the first coffee has gone cold, there are already 127 unread emails, customer messages, invoices, a meeting request from someone who doesn't seem to understand the concept of a calendar, a complaint from a customer who can't find their order, 3 Instagram DMs asking questions the website already answers. By 9 a.m., the day already feels lost. This is the reality for tens of millions of small business owners right now. Not because they're bad at their jobs, not because they're disorganized, but because running a small business in 2025 means doing the work of 5 people without the budget for 5 people. The average small business owner works 63 hours a week, according to a survey by Fundera. That's not ambition. That's survival mode. And the cruel irony, the more time they spend on email, on customer questions, on scheduling, on manually pulling reports, the less time they spend actually growing the business. The trap is real. And most people don't know they're in businesses that are barely keeping up isn't talent. It's not funding. It's not even the product. It's time. The business owner who has 4 more hours a day than their competitor to think, to create, to connect with customers, to build, will win every single time. And right now, the businesses gaining those hours aren't doing it by working harder. They're doing it by automating the work that doesn't require them to be human. 5 categories, 5 AI tools, 20 hours back every single week. Let's walk through it chapter by chapter. Chapter 1, the email avalanche. 2 hours. Every morning, just on email, replies, follow-ups, forwarding things to the right person, typing out the same explanation for the 4th time this week. It doesn't feel like a problem. It just feels like work. But 2 hours a day is 10 hours a week. That's over 40 hours a month. 1 full work week every single month spent inside an inbox. Here's what changed. Tools like Gmail's AI features, Microsoft Copilot, and ChatGPT can now draft email replies in seconds. Not generic templates, actual context-aware responses based on what the email says. The owner reads a message, 1 click. The AI drafts a reply. The owner tweaks 1 line, hits send. What used to take 5 minutes per email now takes 45 seconds. At volume, that's the difference between losing your morning and getting it back. One freelancer who runs a 6-figure consulting business described it like having an assistant who had read every email you've ever written and can sound exactly like you without ever asking for a day off. The inbox doesn't disappear, but it stops running your life. Chapter 2, the customer support loop. Every business has them. The questions that never stop. Where is my order? What's your refund policy? Do you ship internationally? How do I cancel? Can I change my size? The same questions, day after day, from different customers who all need the same answer. Manually answering these isn't just time consuming, it's demoralizing, and it's completely unnecessary. Tools like Intercom's AI agent, Zendesk's AI features, and custom-built chatbots using platforms like ChatGPT or Claude can now handle up to 80% of incoming customer questions automatically. Not with robotic, unhelpful responses, but with accurate, friendly, on-brand answers that customers actually appreciate. A small e-commerce brand did exactly this. Before AI, their support inbox had a 24-hour response time, and the owner was spending 2 hours a day on tickets. After deploying a simple AI chatbot trained on their FAQ and order data, response time dropped to under 2 minutes, and the owner stopped touching the inbox entirely for routine questions. The remaining 20%, the complex, emotional, or unusual requests, still go to a human. That's actually better because now the human isn't exhausted from answering the same question for the 100th time. They can focus on the conversations that actually matter. Chapter 3, the blank page problem. Ask most small business owners what they dread most about marketing, and they'll tell you creating content, not because they have nothing to say, but because turning what they know into an Instagram caption, a blog post, an email newsletter, or a paid ad consistently, week after week, takes time they don't have and energy they've already spent. The blank page is brutal. AI changes this completely. With tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Jasper, or even the AI features built into platforms like Canva and MailChimp, content creation has shifted from something that takes hours to something that takes minutes. The owner knows their business. They know their audience. They know what they want to say. AI translates that into polished, on-brand copy faster than any human writer they could hire at the same price point. One restaurant owner in Austin started using AI to write her weekly email newsletter. She'd spend 15 minutes answering a few questions. What's new this week? What's the special? What story does she want to tell? And the AI would draft the entire thing. She'd read it, adjust the tone, add a personal line or two, and hit send. Newsletter open rates went up because she was publishing consistently for the first time. Reservations went up too. She didn't become a better writer. She just stopped letting the blank page stop her. Chapter 4, the meeting black hole. Oh, there's a kind of time loss that's invisible until you add it up. It's meetings, not just the time in the meeting, but the time spent after. Taking notes, writing summaries, sending action items, following up to make sure people actually did the things that were agreed on. A 1-hour meeting can easily turn into 2 hours of work. For business owners who run teams, even small ones, this multiplies fast. AI tools like Otter.ai, Fireflies, and Microsoft Copilot in Teams can now join a meeting automatically, record the conversation, generate a clean summary, pull out every action item, and email the full recap to every attendee, all without the owner lifting a finger. One agency owner described it as the single most impactful AI tool she'd adopted. Not because meetings were her biggest time drain, but because the follow-through problem disappeared. People showed up to the next meeting having done what they said they'd do, because the AI's summary made the commitments undeniable. The owner stopped being the unofficial secretary of every meeting, and the business moved faster because of it. Chapter 5, the Friday spreadsheet. Every Friday, same ritual, pull the sales numbers, check the inventory, calculate the margins, compare this week to last week, try to figure out what's actually happening in the business before the weekend disappears. It takes 2 hours. The insights are usually obvious in retrospect, and the whole thing has to happen again next Friday. This is the quiet killer of strategic thinking. When you're spending your analytical time gathering data, you have no time left to actually think about what the data means. AI-powered business dashboards built on tools like Notion AI, Stripes Analytics, or custom setups using platforms like Google Looker Studio, combined with AI integrations, now do this automatically. Sales numbers update in real time. The AI surfaces anomalies, best-selling products, biggest expenses, customer behavior patterns, and emerging opportunities appear in Amos plain language, not buried in a spreadsheet that requires interpretation. One e-commerce owner who sells physical products put it simply, I used to spend Friday analyzing last week. Now I spend Friday planning next week. That's not a small difference. That's the entire difference between a reactive business and a proactive one. Here's what these 5 tools have in common. None of them replace the owner. None of them make decisions. None of them understand the business the way the person who built it does. What they do is remove the layer of repetitive mechanical work that was sitting between the owner and the things that actually matter. email drafts, customer F8 responses, first drafts of content, meeting summaries, weekly reports. These are all tasks that follow predictable patterns. And anything that follows a predictable pattern can be automated. The lesson isn't that AI is magic. The lesson is that not every hour of work requires a human mind. And when you stop spending your human mind on things that don't need it, you have something rare. Cognitive space, creative space, strategic space. That's what these business owners got back, not just time, headspace. Here's the part that most AI content won't tell you. 20 saved hours is not the point. The point is what happens with those 20 hours. The owner who gets their mornings back from email doesn't use that time to watch more TV. They use it to finally call the 5 customers they've been meaning to reconnect with. They use it to write the product description they've been putting off. They use it to think about where they want the business to be in a year. The owner who stops spending Fridays on spreadsheets starts spending Fridays on strategy, on relationships, on the ideas that have been stuck in the back of their mind because there was never a quiet moment to develop them. This is the real return on investment from AI. Not the hours, not even the money those hours represent, but the unlock, the shift from reactive to proactive, from surviving to building. And this is where the competitive advantage becomes stark because 2 businesses can serve the same market, sell similar products, have similar sized teams, but the one whose owner has 20 more hours a week to think, to connect, to improve, that business wins. Slowly at first, then decisively. The gap between AI-powered businesses and everyone else is not going to narrow. It's going to widen. 7. Closing. Here's where this story started. 127 unread emails, customer questions piling up, content that never gets made, meetings that drain the day, Friday spreadsheets that eat the weekend, a business owner working 12-hour days and still feeling behind. That was yesterday's reality. It doesn't have to be tomorrow's. The businesses winning right now with AI aren't the biggest. They're not the most funded. They're not even the most technically sophisticated. They're the ones who decided to automate the repetitive work first and then used what came back to do what only humans can do: create, connect, lead, build. Yesterday, one AI tool saved someone 5 hours of work. Tomorrow, it might be your biggest competitor, or it might be you.